Hi everyone, I'm back today with Kari, who's purring nicely now, with a column I wrote in September 1984, Flowers for Becky. I was sure it was going to be the most exciting day in Becky's life. The opportunity was too good to pass up, even if it did involve traveling 250 miles one way and rearranging a calendar of scheduled dates to fit her big day in. Becky would be flower girl in her Godfather Val's wedding if it killed me. The first obstacle that tried to stop me from reaching my goal was the miles that separated Flower Girl and her mother from the wedding arrangements. I really didn't mind all the long distance telephone calls. I expected them when I told Val yes. It was the unanswered calls with unanswered questions that bothered me, not the ones that finally ended up on our bill. Val was terribly busy and nearly impossible to reach. Becky was concerned from day one about her role in the wedding. I would find her sitting quietly in a corner at home thinking about walking down that long church aisle all alone. She was looking forward to doing it too, but she was also scared. One night, Becky even had a nightmare about what was to come. She dreamed all her friends from school were at the wedding and were laughing at her because instead of carrying a basket of flowers down the aisle, she carried a cheese basket, a dream only a girl from Wisconsin could have. Because of some problems, the final fitting for Becky's dress was set the day before the wedding. This I thought a bit unusual, but as long as the dress was ready for Becky the next day, that was all that mattered. Nerves were stretched thread thin as we made the trip to the small bridal shop and found it closed. 6 times we went to the shop finding no one. I would have called it quits on the fourth trip except for Becky and her feelings. I was determined she would have her day. Finally, the dress shop opened and Becky was tucked and pinned into her gown. I thought the worst was behind us, but we weren't finished with our nail-biting waiting yet. The actual wedding started late. Real late. The flower girl and her concerned mother were on time. Becky was beautiful. I was nervous. Everyone was in church waiting, everyone except the bride and her father. I worried about Becky. She was unusually quiet while we waited in the back of church. She just kept peeking at that long aisle she had to travel. I was afraid she'd come down with the hives or that I would if the service didn't get underway soon. Becky was beautiful. I wasn't. I paced. Mothers of the bride and groom don't have the anxious market cornered. The mother of the flower girl has her fair share of anxieties too. The bride did finally make it to her own wedding, and I suppose she was the center of attention, as was her right. But that little flower girl, well, she was something extra special. It sure was some experience for us. Becky certainly did have her day of excitement, as did her mother, and seeing her was worth every minute waiting, every ounce of worry. While we were getting Becky fitted for her dress the day before the wedding, Bob had the rest of the family at Grandma Joe's house on 25th Street in California, Chicago. They were treated to a parade down Grandma's Street, a very different parade. A Nazi group was marching, escorted by Chicago's finest, keeping the peace. That really tickled Bob, and he mentioned it every time we talked about the wedding. And, oops, oh, I thought I had the picture here of Becky and her grandmother at the wedding. And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Becky, our flower girl of the day. And it was a wonderful wedding. So glad we went all the way up to Chicago to celebrate with our cousin. Have a good day.